Hello everybody, today we're doing a little bit of harvesting and then I'm going to get some planting done in the companion planting beds. So we'll go and have a look at this and get cracking. So these are carrots and you can probably see how tall they are. They're running away and they won't be much good to eat. They'll be alright, but they wouldn't be anything special, not like you'd expect from a homegrown carrot. But I'm going to start pulling them today, because I'm going to use them in a different way. They're still usable, just in a different way. And how I'm going to use them is I'm going to take them home, clean them up, chop them up, and I'm going to use them as a trivet. Now a trivet is, well, it used to be a triangular piece of wood, 3 bits of wood together, and you'd put it in the bottom of your baking tray, your roasting tray, and roast your meat on it, so that your meat wasn't in direct contact with the metal underneath. And you'd still collect the juices rather than putting it on a rack and straight in the oven. So there's some nice carrots here. But I like to use veg, and particularly root veg, for this trivet idea. So that's what I'm going to be using these for. So they'll cook under the meat on this coming Sunday, and all the juices that come out of these will go into our gravy, or, as for a chefy term, into the jus, the roast meat jus. So that's what I'm going to use these for today. Right, we'll go and harvest something else. Now this is my ever dwindling supply of bulb fennel, and I put this in last year at the end of the season. Can't quite remember when I planted it. I'll try and flash it up on the screen if I can find out. But the idea was I wanted to grow this purely for this stuff, the herb, so that I could add it to things like fish and vegetables as I was cooking them. And this has never happened to me before, and I've never known about actually growing bulb fennel over winter. And I think because we've had such a mild winter this time around here up in the northwest of England, that it's grown, and it's grown very well. And you can see now it's just starting to go to seed, and that's brilliant. That's May. It's absolutely fantastic. But as I say, it's ever dwindling. Some of it, like this one, not very good. That's for the compost heap. But here we can eat this. This is edible. So we'll harvest this, and I'll just take off some of this excess. Now people are quite frightened of this. They say, don't like the taste of fennel, don't like it. It smells, it's aniseed and licorice and stuff, and I don't like it. Well, to be honest with you, I don't like aniseed and I don't like licorice. I certainly wouldn't eat it myself. But this is so mild, and especially once it's cooked, the aniseed taste that's with this is so mild, and it's almost completely gone and just sort of blends with whatever else you cook it with. And I will be cooking these today or tomorrow with something else, which will help to mute that flavour too. But this is certainly edible. Do give it a try. I urge you to give it a try, because it is a very rewarding crop to grow and eat. I say we are coming towards the end of it now. I mean, that's a cracker, that is. And if you want a stronger fennel taste, then just cook all that with it as well, all that herb. I say that's normally what I grow it for, just a bit of herb. But that, with what I've just picked there, that's a cracking meal. And I'm going to add some other ingredients to that, and I'll get another couple of harvests off this lot over the next, I've probably got no more than 2 weeks. This fella looks like it's going any second. But you know, it's a welcome crop at this time of the year when there's not much else coming out of the plot, so do give it a try. Incidentally, while I'm here, I've got this Levington peat-free multi-purpose compost with added John Innes, and I've been doing some trials over the last 2.5 years on peat-free compost. And what I've been finding is that when I go and buy a couple of bags like that, once you've opened them, the variance in the compost itself can vary from bag to bag. It's not really a formulated blend. So what I'm looking for, and that's compost number 15, and I've just ordered another couple of bags, 3 bags, that's coming hopefully this week, which will be compost number 16. I'm trying to find one that is the same right across the range that I can order or get here in Cumbria, and it's proving to be very difficult. There's a couple of others I've got to go at yet, but I'm looking for some standardization across the range because I want to do some tests, and I've got somebody else in mind, and she's kindly offered to help and run some tests with me, so like a cross-channel project thing. But that's what I'm looking for, is a compost that is standardized, a peat-free compost that we can test, run some tests on and see what the results are. So if you've got anything, please do leave that in the comments. Now, I think the fennel is more of an earthy flavour than an aniseed flavour, but it has got that little hint of it. And what I'm going to be cooking it with this weekend is this stuff. This is chard, and you can see from this one here that, you know, this is fast going to seed. So the leaves themselves won't be that much good to eat. What I'm after here is the stems. These are perfectly edible, and they will contrast nicely with the fennel and some onion and some garlic that I'm going to add at home. So I'll just get rid of the leaf, chop this up, a bit like a rhubarb I suppose, isn't it? And yeah, just add that to the fennel, and that will make a lovely dish. It really will. And again, it will tone down the aniseed flavour that you get from the fennel. So I do urge you, give the fennel a go. Maybe this will come back as well. Maybe I'll get some more leaves off it. So there's my little harvest, a couple of different types of chard, some fennel and some carrots. The carrots do have a bit of root fly in them, but that will get cut out, and I'll just use what I can from them, but I'm not wasting them. Now, it was Boxing Day last year, the traditional day for sowing onion seeds that I sowed in these. I then pricked out what I needed to go in the beds, and they're all away and planted, and I just left the rest in this as backups. A couple of weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago, took them out, planted them up, and this is the result we got. And I'm going to use this now in the companion planting bed here. So what I'm trying to achieve here is to make a mix of smells, textures, colours, shapes, forms within this bed as a mixture for a deterrent against pests. So the smell of these onions should deter them from the carrots that I'm going to sow in there. So I've been potting the onions in here, there and everywhere, and what I've got here now is a tray of shallots. Now, when I planted my shallots, I did the same as every gardener. You take the better plants out and you plant those. The rest just stayed in these trays. I kept watering them, kept them growing, and now they're decent enough to put out. So if I can get them out, this tray's knackered now. So I'll use these as well and have a few extra shallots coming out, if I can get them out. As I say, this just creates a barrier of different smells, forms, textures, looks different. It should be a pretty bed during the summer, especially when I've got a few more flowers in. There's flowers going to be growing up these tripods here, along with some beans. They'll go in here as well. And I'll have climbing flowers growing up and over the structures. But you know, it's rather like planting a flower bed in your back garden somewhere, a nice formal border. You know, you just gradually add a few bits in here, there, come back and sow some seeds, and I'll be sowing more seeds to grow on in modules like this to eventually get planted out in here, and hopefully I can keep it going, you know, for most of the year. Just putting little patches of a few things in, and then we'll see how they do as the whole status of the companion planting. So I've got marigolds and tagetes to go in yet as well, so very slowly they'll start to fill up. So here we are, we've now starting to get a lot more plants into this bed. Still lots to do, there's lots. This week I'll be doing some sowing of some seeds, things like carrot, radish, spring onion, be sowing different varieties in different places. And this is why I've done the onions in different places. I've got onions there and round the end, some shallots there, more onions. There's 3 different types of onions, and to be honest, these are stuff that I just sort of relegated to the sidelines and wasn't going to use because I've got my main crop onions in and filled the bed. But I'm now using them, so they'll do some good and we'll get a harvest from them, and hopefully they'll work with the other plants that I put in to protect each other. So this is the hope. And say there's flowers to come in which are going to grow up and over these supports that are joining these tripods together. So all in all, you know, with the different variants, like in the peas with purple, it should look really pretty and be useful to get a harvest out of, like the sweet peas for instance, and whatever else I put in here. But hopefully by the end of next week it'll mostly be planted up. There'll be just a few plants I'm waiting for, like my beans to go up these other structures here. I want beans, got a couple of different types of beans to grow up there, and there's one I haven't even ordered yet. I must get ordered, which I'd like to grow up these as well. So yeah, it's all looking good. But for now, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Do give Fennel a go, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.